Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Open Master League and the best teams for this one as well as the meta. Before we start, I kind of want to say we're going to have this league now for 2 weeks. So if you have some cool spicy content for this, if you have like some Pokemon build that nobody else has built for this meta, please send me some gameplay with it. I would really appreciate it. Link for this is in the description as always in every video. You can always submit your content there or like your battles there, which would be really cool for me. But otherwise you can start now into the meta. And the meta didn't really shift, I think, since the last time. There are not a lot of Pokemon that really came into that one. We're going to have here a Pokemon that's really awkward to get is the Solgaleo XL. If you have the Solgaleo, a very strong Pokemon right now, breaks apart the Organization Core, which is basically one of the only Pokemon that can do this. Otherwise, I think you have like some like Metagross that can still do it, and there's some that are neutral, like a Groudon, for example, which is now at rank 1. Double Legacy, you need a Precipice Blades as well as Fire Punch, a very strong Pokemon, but of course gets walled by the bulkiest Pokemon in this meta, which is going to be the Lugia. So Lugia, Groudon going to be very good, Giratina going to be very good. Interesting to see Altered that high up instead of Origin. Altered actually lost a little bit of its potential since it goes to level 15 or to level 40. While it shouldn't really make a difference for Giratina Altered, you lose a few more matchups because you don't do enough damage for some Pokemon, which is kind of sad, but still very cool Pokemon to use. Kyurem very good still with Glaciate. Dragonite a very good Pokemon for no for no legendary teams. It's going to be the main league that you're going to have to play for the next 2 weeks most likely. Otherwise, you have Element Cup, where I already made a top team video for that earlier today. Check that one out if you haven't already. And for the next week, we're going to have the Catch Cup, which is the only Pokemon that you caught during the next week. So, yeah, it's not really something that's good for us, but I really enjoy this meta itself. Like, I think this meta is really, really good. You're going to face a lot of times. It's funny that the Dialga is so low because this Pokemon is still so strong. Same with Kyogre, same with Palkia. Like, you see so many Pokemon even down here, like a Snorlax, like a Landorus. Landorus is really strong. Metagross is really strong. Swampert has some play. Mamoswine has some play. Buzzwole has some play. Garchomp has some play. Even Ursaluna has some play. Like, you see so many Pokemon that you can basically consider top meta as well for this meta, which makes it just so much fun to play in this one. There are quite a few Pokemon that are also not legendary, which is maybe something interesting. Of course, you also have Meloetta or whatever that you cannot get, but there are quite a few options that you can also get. MEWeedle is very easy to get through those boxes. You always get 3 guaranteed XL candy per catch for Melton anyway, so that's something that you should have. Zarude, of course, not really possible to get. Genesect is easy to get, but like, of course, you have to do the raids for that one. But there are quite a few Pokemon that you can use that are legendary, like Hydreigon, very good Pokemon as well. Togekiss now with the Community Day recently, very, very decent. Golden Go, very, very cool Pokemon if you have this one available. But yeah, let's take a look at the top teams. We have 12 today, so it's going to be a little bit of a longer video most likely. The first team here going to be one of the classic ones. We're going to have the Dialga in the lead, the Say-Swap of the Lugia and the Kyogre in the back. This team has been basically around for ages. Now you can decide as well if you want to run Origin Pulse or Thunder or Blizzard on your Kyogre. There is no real best option in my opinion. I like Origin Pulse just because it just does the plain most damage. But of course you lose a bit of coverage with that, so like if you are a little bit scared about the mirror or something, you might want to run Thunder. If you like kind of want to hit some more flying types, you might want to run Thunder, but like if you have one already within you, the charge move there might be an idea. Otherwise you can also flip this team, which I don't have in the top teams again, but like it's very good if you flip it around, so you have the Kyogre in the lead, the Say-Swap of the Lugia and the Dialga in the back. I like this team maybe a little bit more even than the current version that's currently on the screen. The second team here going to be the best no legendary team here with a Dragonite in the lead, the Say-Swap of the Excadrill as well as the Metagross in the back. Should work out still pretty well. I've seen a lot of people in like high elo with this team still last time this cup was around, so should definitely still work out pretty well. Otherwise you can also use some substitutes here. For example, Rayquaza in the lead works out pretty well as well if you have that one. If you have Zacian, you can use it as a Say-Swap. Zacian's moveset always kind of depends though. Like you really have to see what you want to use. I like right now the either the quick attack or snarl version. The quick attack and snarl is not really the biggest difference there, but I like actually the snarl, play rough, and wild charge set. Does not really make too much sense for most people, I just like it. But otherwise, you have now Groudon still in the back that you can use as well to beat other steel type Pokemon that you don't want to face with the elite. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Let's go to the next one. The next team here going to be one with Zacian in the lead here. You can use basically any kind of moveset. I would most likely go for quick attack, play rough, and the move close combat. Sesop, you're going to be the Groudon, but make sure that you're going to run Dragon Tail on this Pokemon, because this will allow you to do more damage against those Dragon type Pokemon that are coming in, most likely when you use it as a safe swap, and you kind of want to get them out of the way for your Kyogre in the back. So if the opponent has, for example, a Dragonite in the back lurking around, you're going to be able to bait this one out with your Groudon, still do a super effective damage with your fast move. Most likely you're going to be able to either get shields or flip, and then you're going to have to you have your Kyogre basically running free in the back, which is really, really cool for this team. Really enjoyed this one when I played it. There's a video on my channel about this one as well, and I see you now for the next one. Next team, you're going to have basically an answer for any steel type in the lead here, which is going to be either the Groudon this time around, not with Dragon Tail, or the Mamoswine, which is really underrated as a non-legendary Pokemon for this kind of meta. Sesop, either the Lugia or the Zacian. Zacian is a little bit better most likely, but Lugia definitely works out pretty well as well. And with that, you're most likely going to get out a steel type, and then you're going to have in the back a Pokemon that doesn't really want to get out a steel type anyway. So you're going to have either your Rayquaza or the you can also use Dragonite, by the way, if you want, or the Dialga in the back. That should work out pretty well as a team like this. The next team here going to be also one that I kind of really want to try out, but I still haven't built a Giratina yet. We're going to have your Giratina in the lead. You can also use something like a Kyogre in the lead if you want that one. That definitely works out pretty well as well. You're going to have the Sesop of the Zacian. You have to make sure that Zacian here definitely has a moveset that is running the move Wild Charge for potential Ho-Ohs in the back, which can happen, of course. So that might be something you kind of want to take a look at. And then you're going to have in the back another fairy type. It can be any fairy type that's pretty decent for this kind of meta. Usually Togekiss or the Florges, both of them pretty fine. Xerneas works also pretty well for that position if you have one, but yeah, that's going to be it for this team. Let's go to the next one. The sixth team here going to be running around Palkia. Palkia is a very cool Pokemon, and I really enjoyed using it last time around because this Pokemon is able to basically break both the Groudon as well as the Kyogre, which is really cool, as well as you're going to have good coverage against most Pokemon, and there's basically on nearly every team something that you can beat with this Pokemon. It's also decent against most steel types even still, because against Excadrill you have super effective damage with Awkward Tail, while you're going to be able to resist the main damage source of a Metagross as well. You have access to the move Draco Meteor or Fire Blast. I used Fire Blast for fun, but Draco Meteor is most likely the better one. Of course, Awkward Tail is the one that you really want. You can have Dragon Breath or Dragon Tail as a fast move. Really depends on what you would want. I think Dragon Breath is a little bit better. Sesop here, Zacian kinda has to have Wild Charge again because you have a best answer against Ho-Oh in the elite here right now. So if you swap your Zacian in, you're most likely gonna get the Ho-Oh out of the way, and you kinda need something to hit this Pokemon, so Wild Charge kinda needed. Most likely something like Snarl, Play Rough, Wild Charge would be the best one for this one. Let's go on to the next one. Next one here going to be with the Kyogre or the Mewtwo in the lead. Mewtwo is also an interesting Pokemon. It's kinda tricky sometimes to play this one. There's some Yveltal sometimes around, but yeah, like you also have like some very neutral matchups. I don't know, Mewtwo can be really decent, really depends on the matchup. We're going to have the OG core for this meta right now, the Zacian Sesop, the Dialga in the back. Like those two together are just always very strong. It is wild how strong they are together, but yeah, if you use Kyogre in the lead, you most likely kinda want to have something like Wild Charge again on the Zacian. But yeah, really depends. Like Zacian, literally you can use nearly every moveset in nearly every team. If you have something in the lead that's really good against Ho-Oh, and you have something in the back that's really weak against Ho-Oh, you kind of want to have Wild Charge, of course. Here, the Dialga would be pretty decent against Ho-Oh still, so it would be okay without it. But it really depends. But yeah, you kind of want to play out most of the time the lead, and then just align your Pokemon correctly, which can hopefully RPS the opponent then. Melmetal has now a new charge move as well for this meta, so this might be also something that you can run. Melmetal mainly struggles against something like a Groudon, so you have two good answers for that one in the back. Having the Sesop here of the Lugia, one of the best Sesops in the current meta, and one of our flying dragon boys in the back should be pretty decent to play it like this. If you don't have the new move, it's also not that bad. You can run a Rock Slide, which might be even better for this Pokemon anyway, because of Ho-Oh and Lugia and a lot of flying type Pokemon in general, so Might be even a little bit better than double Iron Bash, because you cannot even elite him right now. But yeah, this is going to be it for this team. Let's go into the next one. The next team, you're going to be a little bit more neutral. We're going to have the Lugia lead, a Pokemon that you usually see as a safe swap, but it's also, of course, a good lead if it's good as a safe swap, because it's so good against, like, most Pokemon. Safe swap going to be, of course, our friend, our good Zacian, going to be in so many teams. It's sadly, like, you can sometimes substitute something like a Mewtwo against Zacian. In this case, I wouldn't really say you can because of the double weakness against Ghost-type Pokemon, like the Giratina Origin. But yeah, otherwise you're going to have the big boy Groudon in the back. Definitely a good Pokemon for this one as well, because you can struggle a little bit with your lead against Steel-type Pokemon. If you face a Metagross, by the way, in the lead, please stay in. This is the only way you can really play this one out. You can still get most likely a shield against the Metagross, then farm down later maybe with the Groudon. You're hopefully going to still have a chance in the game, but of course you have a double weakness against Metagross on this team. Goldengo is still a very cool Pokemon for this meta as well, as you're going to also be able to destroy the Zacian plus Dialga core, as anything other than like a Thunder is going to be resisted, of course. Now from Zacian is even super effective against you, but still you're going to have some pretty decent typing against the opponents with this Pokemon here itself. Had a lot of fun playing this one before, and should be a very decent team. Also, Kyurem, very underrated. This Pokemon is very, very strong. Kyurem can glaciate them also. If you have one, definitely try to build one. A very, very underrated Pokemon in the Master League. The next team you're going to be another team that we already know from earlier days. We're going to have here the Ho-Oh in the lead. We're going to have the Seiso of the Dialga, and we're going to have the Zekrom in the back as a closer. The cool thing here is you have a lead that should be able to just destroy those Zacians, those Fairy-type Pokemon in general, and you can bait them out with your Dialga, which has the part typing of Steel, which will allow you to have some good coverage against those Pokemon as well. You have a weakness against Water-type Pokemon in the lead. You have 2 Pokemon in the back that can deal with it. You have a weakness against Ground-type Pokemon in the back, and you have a Pokemon in the lead that's going to be immune against ground-type moves. So like, you have a very good synergy in this team. It's been around for long. It's still very, very strong. Definitely kind of want to try this one out again as well. It's just very, very good. And the 12th and final team for today's video, like a longer one here, a lot more work as well. So if you enjoyed that one, please leave a like. We're going to have here another team that doesn't need any legendary Pokemon here. We're going to have the Gyarados in the lead. Interestingly enough, a very decent pick nowadays, because you're going to be able to have some good time against Dragonite, against Rayquaza, against the entire Weather trio there with Groudon and Kyogre as well. So you're going to have such a great time against a lot of Pokemon type-wise. You're still kind of like on damage output, to be fair. It's still kind of like, it's not as good in my opinion as, for example, a Dragonite is a non-legendary Pokemon in this kind of meta, but still Gyarados has some potential. It just has a great typing right now. And yeah, maybe try it out. Should be something interesting. Otherwise, Safe Swap here, Memospine going to be very decent in general in this meta right now as well. Like, there's basically like 1 or 2 Pokemon that can really deal with Memospine, and especially since they gave it a new charge move as well with the high horsepower. It's so strong right now. And then we have in the back all other steel types. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm mostly going to play mainly the Master League on my channel, so like definitely feel free to check those videos out as well. If you have some cool content for the Master League, if you have something crazy build or something, please send me some footage with that, link in the description, and I see you in the next video.